remember the whole Y2K scare like it was yesterday. You remember that when we were partying like it was 1999, right? And like Prince said, we're going to party like it's 1999. And then we changed over to the year 2000, and there was all sorts of turmoil. People were worried, what's going to happen? You know, the computer software, all of this tech, it's not ready to change over. It's not programmed for the year 2000, right? It's all programmed for the for 1900s. And here we are, it's 2020, right? It's 2 decades since that. It just goes to show you how time flies when you're having fun, I guess, right? And you know, For Life was founded in 1998, and I came on board in early 1999. I remember when I actually went in as a For Life employee, it was Valentine's Day 1999. And the only reason I remember it was Valentine's Day is because I walked in and there were like paper cut hearts everywhere, pink hearts and red hearts, and they were celebrating an office party. And, you know, look how far we've come. Now, that's the exciting part. We have 20 years of foundation and history with this company. And I want to share some perspective on that. How many companies in this industry right now do you think can say that they have 2 decades of foundational success? It's a couple dozen at the very most, right? It's some of the biggest and best companies in this business model. But better yet, how many companies, if we further qualify that, how many companies do you think can say we have 20 years of security and strength and foundation, but yet our biggest sales year was the one we just left? Our biggest sales month was just a couple months ago. Because most of the time in this industry, you're doing one of 2 things. You're settling, I would say. You're either settling for potential and upside, but probably don't have security because it's a startup company, right? And everybody tells you, oh, there's no saturation. It's a brand new company. It's new to market. You know, it's 2020, it's January 6th. I can tell you already, I've seen 3 or 4, oh, new startup company, and they do all the bells and whistles. This startup company coming in 2020. Here's the problem with those startup companies, though. Most of them are here today, gone tomorrow. In fact, statistics show that most of them, if they start in 2020, won't see 2021. And yet, the greater portion won't see 2022. Do you know the overwhelming majority of companies in any business model, but specifically in network marketing, that they don't last? The majority don't last to see their 2nd birthday. So what kind of success proposition is that for you, right? If it's like, hey, there's all this upside, nobody's heard of us, we're brand new, it's get in first, you know, be a part of the founding, you know, team, you know, be a pioneer of this company. Well, guess what? If it's a company that very likely won't be here after 2 years, that does you no good, right? That doesn't help you at all. You want to be a part of something that you're building today and you get paid on what you start, right? You get paid on what you start. That's the key, getting paid on what you start. But if what you build doesn't last, and I promise you this, if it's to last, it probably doesn't come quickly. And if it comes quickly, it's probably not built to last, right? Those things rarely go together one with another, right? So my point being is the other side of the equation is this. Those companies that might have been around for 20 or 30 years, they have the foundation of a For Life, but their best days were also a decade ago. There's one that comes to mind right here in my backyard that actually they started in 1983. So that's a long time to be in business, right? 1983 to 2020. And they've done really well. They're a $1 billion company. But guess when their peak was? Guess when their success was? It was in the late 1990s. So we're also 20 years removed from when they were the best opportunity, right? So yeah, they got a lot of security, but they're 20 years past their glory days. They're 20 years past the most opportune time to be a part of it. Now, I don't believe in the notion that there's only one right time to be a part of a company. Whether you've been with us for a year or 10 years or 20 years, or whether you've been with us for 1 month, 6 months, whatever, the right time is right now. But I'm just trying to let you know that this is a company that's been around for 20 years. We have security, but our best days are ahead of us. In fact, the statistics show that. Every single year that I've been a part of this company, every single year, we've had growth. From 1999 to 2000, from 2000 to 2001, you name it, every year. And I attribute that to a few things. That's science, success, and service, right? It's a real product that really works. It's a different product. It's beyond vitamins, minerals, and herbs. And because of the scientific aspect of our product, we have some great return product users, right? People who use it, love it, they keep coming back to buy it month in, month out. We have the ultimate consumable, replenishable product with 4Life. And that's one of the reasons that after 20 years, we're still growing. It's because of success as well, because we have a compensation plan. You know, I get a lot of people that call me up. Kevin, we're starting this company. There was a company about 5 years ago that started. The same CEO of one of these great big juice companies. He'd helped a juice company rise like a rocket. It fell like a rock. And he was starting his next big thing. And he called me up and he said, hey, Kevin, you got to check this out. We're doing a soft launch in Las Vegas. That's only about a 4.5-hour drive from you. This is going to be the next big thing. And I started asking about his product. It was a vitamin. You know, they had this spin on this potential vitamin and the way that they extracted this vitamin and the way that they blended it with other vitamins. But it was a Me Too product. And then I said to him simply, what's your compensation plan max out? What do you pay back to the distributors? And he said, oh, we're at an industry leading 50%. So he said, industry leading 50%. I'm like, well, I don't know what industry you're referring to, but 4Life maximizes at 64%. And his exact words to me, I can't compete with that. He said, I can't compete with that. We don't have the margins. Part of it is David Lisenby, when he started 4Life, I want to give you guys a little bit of inside perspective because I think it's important to understand this. David Lisenby was in what I would refer to as my dream home before he started 4Life. He was already financially independent. So it wasn't, you know, most of these companies, they start off, they say, hey, what's our goal? Our goal is we want this group of founders, these executives that are going to start this company. We want to have a vehicle to where we can all make money. And then they say, oh, well, we need a product. What's a product that we could use for direct sales, for network marketing? Then they try to come up with a product. Well, we need a story. What's the story behind the product? Then they try to come up with the story. And then they say, okay, well, we need to do a compensation plan. Well, what's our goal? Our goal is for us to be wealthy. We want to make money. So this is a great business model. Word of mouth is as old as time. Well, we're going to pay these distributors. We're going to give them a commission for going out and talking about our product. Well, we can't give them too much, can we? Because what's our goal? Our goal is for the executives to make money. You know, I live in Utah, and almost every really nice car that I pull up next to, that it will say a network marketing company on it, And I'm in the business of conversation starting, right? So I'll go up and I'll talk to the person. If I see a person jump out of a BMW, a Mercedes, a sports car, and they have a decal that's a network marketing company, I'll go and I'll say, hey, tell me a little bit about your company. Well, they always have a conversation with me, and I'll say, so what do you do? And guess what most of them do? Most of them are the executives for these companies. Oh, I'm the chief officer for this company, or I'm the executive vice president for that company. Well, there you go, right? That's where the money is going. The money is going to all of the executives. Well, because the lion's share stays with the company, because that's where their goal is. David Lisenby had financial independence in his dream home when I knew him as my next door neighbor. He started For Life for a different reason. He came across Transfer Factor because he's a health enthusiast. He wanted to write books about alternative natural health. He came across Transfer Factor, came across the story first, right? The story of Sherwood Lawrence, 1949, discovered this miracle molecule, nature's first supplement. So here we have a guy that came across the story, researched the product, and then decided, wow, we've got something here that's the next vitamin C, that's the next penicillin. This is something everybody in the world needs to know about. Biotechnology, made by the immune system for the immune system. Why doesn't anybody know about it? The doctors all know about it. You know, he as he talked to learned doctors and medical professionals, they knew Transfer Factor, but why did people not have it? Why weren't they benefiting from it? So you see the difference in how these companies start. So because that's what his passion was, it went from story, research, product, I want to build a company. And when he first approached Bianca Lisenby, she said, I thought you were just going to write books. And he's like, I feel like that I came across this. This was divine. I feel like it's my life's mission to take Transfer Factor to the world. And that was our very first slogan, taking Transfer Factor to the world, because that was his goal. Let's get this product to everybody out there who needs it. So he built a compensation plan. He built a company culture built on that mission. It wasn't, hey, how can we make the executives in this room rich? It's how can we bless the lives of a lot of different people through this product and therefore this opportunity. So it was built a different way. So I've never seen a compensation plan that pays the percentages that our compensation plan pays. Because David Lisenby knew he has transferceutical science. He has this amazing product sitting in a warehouse. Unless people are out telling the story, unless people are out talking about Transfer Factor, sharing this opportunity, what good is it doing? It has to be consumed to be benefited from. It has to be shared to be benefited from. So he put the lion's share into the distributors who are telling the story of Sherwood Lawrence, of Transfer Factor, of this, the origin of this company, of science, success, and service. That's why I sit here today with you, my fellow For Life distributors. Took me a while to realize it, but I realized it. Better late than never, right? And in 2005, I said, hey, Kevin, you're on the wrong side of the right opportunity. You're on the wrong side of the right company, the wrong side of the right pay. And if you want to be able to chase your dreams, it's time you go and become a distributor. You need to tell the story of Transfer Factor. You need to join the leaders who are out as ambassadors, sharing our product, sharing science, success, and service. So that's what I did in 2005. Now, it didn't happen overnight. We're 15 years later, and I'm a Gold International Diamond. The first year was tough. The second year was tough. Guess what? It's still tough. There's still days that are tough. That's the one thing that we all need to realize. It's when the going gets tough, the tough get going, right? Every day, you've got to remind yourself of what your dream is, what your purpose is. Because I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of people out there that are going to be detractors. a lot of people out there, they're going to be naysayers. You've ever heard the expression, misery loves company? Well, it's especially true in this industry. If somebody's getting up and they're enslaved to an 8 to 6 job every day, we don't say 9 to 5 anymore. That's a myth, right? It was 9 to 5 in the 80s when Dolly Parton was making a movie called 9 to 5. That's not what it is anymore. It's 8 to 6. And sometimes it's longer than that in corporate type of infrastructure for businesses, right? If they're spending 50, 60, sometimes 70 hours a week working for someone else's dream, helping to make the boss money, they feel undervalued, underappreciated. Do you think there's going to be some of them that when you dare to dream, when you have an entrepreneurial spirit, when you're innovative and you decide, hey, I'm going to go into business, not by myself, but for myself, with a group of like-minded leaders who are innovative, and I'm going to represent this product, and I'm going to represent this company, and I'm going to chase my dreams, they're going to be those people that are like, oh, have you guys ever heard of the crab in a bucket? There's what they call crabs in a bucket. And it's true. If you take 3 crabs and put them in a bucket, they will never escape. And the reason why is because one crab will start to make leverage for his escape. He'll start to actually be able to exit. And he'll climb over the other crab, and soon as he's about to taste freedom, guess what that other crab does? Pulls him back down. Oh, where are you going? You're coming back here. You're coming back here. If we're stuck in the bucket, you're stuck in the bucket. And it will repeat like that forever. The next crab will start to go. He'll start to taste freedom. The other crab will pull him down. And it happens like that, and you'll never see a crab escape a bucket where there's multiple crabs, because it's called crab mentality, right? If I can't have freedom, you can't have freedom. Well, guess what? That's not this. That's not what we do here, right? That's not together building people. What we do here, I always say, you know, Dr. Ogina could tell us what all the initials mean, right? But I always say, hey, I'm not a PhD. I'm not an MD either, but MD works better for me in what I do, because PhD, have you ever felt that crab mentality out there where people are like, push him down? PhD, right? Push her down. PhD. Like, I don't want you to do well. Push him down, push her down. There's a lot of PhDs out there. Crab mentality, they're trying to push you down. They're trying to keep you to where you're not doing well. Well, we have MDs in this room, right? Not only Dr. Ogina, but all of you should be motivating dreams. That's what we do. We do different than we're not about trying to steal someone's dream here to push him or push her down. We want to motivate dreams. We want to motivate distributors. We want to be there to help each other reach goals. That's the difference in this industry. But guess what? You're going to have to go through a lot of PhDs out there. There's a lot of crabs in this bucket we call Earth. There's a lot of people that are going to be like, no. And they're not even saying no sometimes to you. They're not saying no to For Life. They're not even saying no to Transfer Factor or this business. They're saying no to themselves. They don't believe in themselves. Like, I don't know if I can do this. I'm afraid. And guess what? Sometimes an afraid mind or a confused mind says no. And sometimes it goes even further than saying no. Sometimes it goes and it says, hey, if I can't have it, no one will. I don't want you to do well. How dare you have the audacity to dream? How dare you have hope? How dare you have a way to do it a little bit differently? But that's what we do at For Life, right? We do life differently. And the key is this. It's not an easy business, but it is a simple one. And the simplicity lies in this. It's a numbers game. How many people on earth right now? 7 billion plus, right? 7 billion plus. How many people do you think there are in For Life markets? Markets that For Life either does business in, emerging markets, like Kenya. with an LP center, or established markets where we actually have a corporate office. There are a lot of different people in those markets, right? Dare I say, a couple billion people just in markets that For Life does business in. So I always say this, but this is the most important thing about this business. It's a numbers game. He or she who talks to the most people opens your mouth and then opens your heart, right? Because you have to talk to people and share it, and then open your heart because you've got to care. From share to care, right? You've got to share it with people, and then you've got to care about what they need. What is it that they need? Do they need an opportunity? Do they need health? Do they need wealth? Do they need a little bit different lifestyle? Maybe they just need some personal growth. Do they need a vehicle to help them start to believe in themselves again? Whatever it is, the only way you're going to find out is you've got to open your mouth. Talk to people. Talk to everybody. And then don't take offense if people say no. And you got to get past fear, right? How many of you are enslaved to fear? I know there's still times I have to fight fear, right? Because you're worried. Is somebody going to judge me? Is somebody going to say no? Is somebody going to reject this opportunity? Is somebody going to think I'm crazy? Is somebody going to say I'm involved in one of those pyramid schemes? Well, guess what? Their ignorance doesn't dictate my ambition, right? And I'm going to go and talk to everybody. And as I'm talking to them, the pipeline of this business, ladies and gentlemen, is prospecting. You show me a good prospector, I'll show you somebody who's got a head start. Now, after you prospect, you need to nurture, you need to train, you need to support, you need to follow up, you need to edify. It's Dave's 4 steps, right? You review those steps and rinse and repeat, because that's really what it comes down to. But when he always talked about identify, what does identify go to next, right? Solidify. What's solidifying? Solidifying is finding those people who are building your business. Why has Dave been gone recently? Not celebrating the holidays, right? He found somebody that he's trying to solidify in Brazil. And now he's spending a lot of time in chasing that leader and helping build that business, because he realizes this as we come full circle. What we do today, what you do in 2020, I promise you this, you're going to get paid on in 2030 with For Life. You're going to get paid on in 2040 with For Life. This, and there's very few people that can testify of this. And I'm going to testify to you of this as a witness, okay? This is David Lisenby's legacy. This is his family. This is their future. This is the business that he has attached the Lisenby legacy to. A lot of companies, the CEO said, okay, the ultimate mission is the buyout. When do we go public? When do we sell? When do we move on? David Lisenby's attached himself to moving up, not moving on. He's got his family entrenched into the For Life home office. He's got his plans entrenched into the future of For Life and Transfer Factor. So don't bet against David Lisenby. That's one of the things I could tell you right now. There's few things I would not bet against, and I would not bet against David Lisenby. And he surrounded himself with like-minded people, from Steve Tu to Danny Lee to Mark Ostler to Trent Tenney. He surrounded himself with others who have the same vision that he has. But I can tell you, his vision is the evolution of our science, the progression of our culture, the continuation of our company. And so what we do in 2020, guys, I'm going to tell you probably still to this day, one of my favorite experiences. I'm going to go back to 2000 with you, okay? In 2000, I was still a corporate employee at For Life Research. And I had a next door neighbor who came to me and said, Kevin, I've just been diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. Do you know what that is? Now, I've been working for For Life for a year. I had no idea what that was. And there's a lesson to be learned here, right? I was an ignorant 20-something-year-old young man who was treating For Life as a job at the time. I was trading time for money. But I cared about my neighbor. She said, I heard you are with a company that has a great immune support product. And I was still caught up and embarrassed of the model. Don't be embarrassed of this model. I sing it from the rooftops now, loud and proud. You see people out there that they do classified ads, not MLM. Well, I want to do a classified ad. Hell yeah, MLM. You better believe it's MLM, because this is a business model when done right that will take off the chains and help people leave their dreams. But I was still embarrassed at the time because I wasn't a distributor at the time in 2000. So I said, oh yeah, I work for a company called For Life, but I'm not a distributor. I'm an employee, almost apologetic, right? Just silly, ignorance. But she said, well, maybe you can hook me up with somebody who can get me that product, because I've heard it's really good for the particular autoimmune disease that I have. So I said, sure. Well, I went to a guy that was the chief scientific officer for the entire company. And I said, hey, I got a neighbor. This is what she's dealing with. Can transfer factor help? He said, yeah, take her the transfer factor. We just introduced the transfer factor plus. He said, don't take her the plus, take her the transfer factor classic. He goes, the classic will be better for what she's dealing with. Took it to her. Long story short, 2005, I became a distributor. She called me up. She goes, hey, I heard that you're becoming a distributor for this company. I said, yes. And she goes, well, I've just been getting the product just from different people every month. But she goes, well, you're going to be a distributor and you're the person I first asked about it. She goes, maybe what I can do is I can actually ask you to, can I be a customer with you? That's pretty great, right? She approached me about being my customer. She was my first customer in 2005. She said, I already love the product, Kevin, but since you're going to be a distributor now, might as well just get it from you. I said, sure. So she started buying 3 bottles of the classic transfer factor from me every single month. I went over when I became a distributor, sat down with her, kind of walked through some different programs with her, talked to her a little bit about, what it was that she could expect, let her know, hey, if there's anything I can do for you, here's my contact information. Well, guess what? My family grew, my income grew, my business grew, and we needed to have our house grow too. So I moved from that neighborhood. I moved to another neighborhood and never saw Tammy again for about 4 years. 4 years later, I'm in a home improvement store. And guess what happens? I have somebody tap me on the shoulder. I turn around, my old friend and neighbor, Tammy Payne. And Tammy's like, Kevin, it's been so long time. And we did small talk. How's Courtney? How's the kids? How you liking the new neighborhood? And we just were talking about just small talk. And then she said to me, Kevin, guess what? She goes, I still order 3 bottles of transfer factor every single month. She goes, never found anything that's even close to as good as this is for my autoimmune disease. I ordered every single month. Think about that for a second. Getting paid on what I started, right? I spent a couple hours with this lady, my neighbor, and she, to this day, 2020, she orders 3 bottles every month. 20 years. Now, I'm just going to give you just a little bit of a look into that. So she's ordered 100 LP every month for 10 years. I made $3,000 for that 90 minutes that I spent with her and talked to her about transfer factor. That's that's like royalties, right? That's like Elvis Presley or Michael Jackson or Dr. Ogina and my dear favorite Bob Marley, right, Dr. Ogina? Bob Marley only recorded Buffalo Soldier one time. But he still, his family, Ziggy Marley, his son, still gets paid on Buffalo Soldier. And hey, we can all be Bob Marley a little bit, right? We go out and we talk to people. The people that you talk to in 2020 about For Life, about Transfer Factor, you're going to get royalties on. You got the best consumable, replenishable product in the industry, a product that people use and they love. They want to come back and they want to buy it. The best thing is, though, help them learn how to turn it into a business too, because that's the best of both worlds, right? Because I've even had some people that are like, Kevin, I love the product, but I'm kind of struggling financially. People will quit on a product even if they love it for their health. But guess what they won't quit on? They won't quit on a product that they love for their health that they're basically getting for free, right? Well, how can they get it for free? Simple. You start referring it to others, right? You sign up as a distributor, you start building a business with it, and then you start to make a little bit of commission. That's the first goal that I set with every single person when I first signed them up. My very first goal is, hey, let's talk about how we can right off the bat, let's talk about how we can start earning your income to where you can get your product paid for free, right? To where you could get your product paid for free. And if they do that, I've never once in 15 years as a distributor, I've never had somebody cancel on Transfer Factor, especially when they're basically making enough money that they're paying for their product, right? So that's a good first goal to have with somebody. I want to finish my section and we can open it up and turn it over to other people. But I want to finish my section with three things that I think are important. These are things I would take notes on because I think they're incredibly important for 2020 and what I would call your success equation. Because I have found in my time in this business that these are the three things that are incredibly important when it comes to the formula for reaching your goals in this business. The first category is personal growth. How are you sharpening the saw? You're the saw. You're the best tool that you have for your business. I love Dave Daughtry. He's like a brother to me. He's a mentor. He's my sponsor and my upline. He's my friend, and he's also the person I look to as a business professional, right? In fact, speak of the guy. He's probably saying, "Hey, Kev, do you got the call today?" Sometimes he's a little bit late to the party, but he's trying to call me right now. I love the guy, but I can tell you this right now. He's not the best asset for my business. He's an incredible asset for all of our business. But the best asset for my business, if it's Dave Daughtry, I'm struggling, okay? You are the best asset for your business. Dr. Ogina, you are the best tool for your business. Claudia, you're the best tool for your business. Judy and J. Michael, Christina, Anna, Janet, I think Henry's up there as OPPO F5, but Peace, Caroline, Charles, you are the best tool for your business. Sharpen the saw, okay? Personal growth. That's the number one aspect to building the business. That's the number one key to your success formula. How are you developing you? Because you need to be a leader that you would follow. You need to be the kind of sponsor that you want to have. You want to be the kind of leader that you would like to follow. So personal growth. The second is the quality of your relationships. That's number two, right? Number two is Dave Daughtry for me. Number two is each of you. The quality of my relationships. This is a relationship business, okay? And it's like any relationship, whether it's your spouse, whether it's your children, whether it's your pastor at your church, your community leader, your teacher, if you're enrolled at school. The quality of your relationship is such a key part of this business, but nurture it, right? You've heard me share about sunflowers. The reason I love sunflowers is this: sunflowers turn to the sun. they turn to the light. They turn to positive energy. They turn to a place to be reinforced. But do you know what a sunflower does when the sun goes away? They turn to each other because they have absorbed sunlight, and rather than going like this, like most flowers will, right? Rather than shirking without the absence of sun, sunflowers grow in fields together. And if they can, they will be turned just like that to the sun. But when no sun is present, they turn to each other. And that's how they get their light. That's how they get their power. That's how they get their energy. The same it is with us, right? The quality of our relationships. We're all going to have bad days. There's two types of people in this industry. The type of person that realizes and admits that they're going to have bad days, and the liar. Okay? Because if somebody tells you, I never had a bad day, I never had one single bad day in my... No, listen, bad days can't turn into bad weeks. Bad weeks can't turn into toxic behavior. Toxic behavior can't turn into poor culture. Poor culture can't turn into habits. And it starts with our thoughts. Have you ever heard the expression, as a man thinketh, so is he? Right? It starts with our thoughts. It's mindset, guys. It's 99% right here. As we think is what we say. What we say is the traction for our action. It's what we do. But it all starts with mindset. So here's a challenge for every one of you. Thank somebody. Gratitude is one of the most powerful forces in this industry. Thank a downline. Thank an upline. Thank your sponsor. Thank a customer. Show gratitude to a friend, a family member, a stranger. But gratitude has power in its own right, and it's probably one of the most important things in the quality of our relationships. Because sometimes we think people know how much we appreciate them, right? Well, they gotta know. They gotta know how much I appreciate them. Well, you know what? 2020 is a great time to reflect and resolve to let them know. Don't leave it for assumption. Make sure that they know. And that's an important part. So personal growth, quality of our relationship. Number 3, intensity of your effort. Intensity of your effort's the third thing for your success equation. Because it's key, guys. I mean, how many times have you talked to somebody who's like, I got big dreams, but small work ethic? Is that a success formula that's going to work? I promise you this. I've never met somebody with big dreams, big goals, actually reaching those dreams or goals, not once, that had small work ethic. Unless it's just absolute dumb luck. And then how's that going to last for them, right? So the intensity of our effort is the third thing. Treat it like a hobby, and it's going to be a hobby for you. Treat it like a business. It's going to be a business for you. But a business requires preparation, organization, goal setting, accountability, follow-up, planning for budget, plan of action. It requires daily task. It requires a sit-down review of, here's my income-producing activities. These are the things I'm going to do each and every day to reach my goal. Then a rinse and repeat, return and do it all over again, right? Those are key aspects. Just one second here. So that's, but you treat it like an empire. Treat it like it's going to be your retirement plan. It's going to be the vehicle for all your dreams. Well, that requires a bit more, right? Because you can't have lion things wandering around in the pasture like a lamb. If you want it to be a lion and you want it to be a king or the queen of the jungle, you want it to be, if that's your goal and those are the kind of ambitions you have, then you got to match it with intensity of effort, right? And that's one of the things in the very beginning. And it's okay to take breaks, to take a step away. I just took a break. I just took 7-8 days of just stepping away and enjoying my family and enjoying California and envying their weather and coming back to Utah where it was snowing. It's okay to recharge, but you've got to have some times where it's 8 to faint, it's all in, and it's chasing the business, chasing it. It's not, because it's not a casual stroll to your dreams. It's not a, well, I'm going to pace myself with a little bit of a jog. This is a marathon, but it's interesting because it's not just a marathon. It's a marathon with like high intensity interval training, right? Where you have to sprint at certain mile markers. I'm just going to tell you guys, I don't know about you, but for me, from now until the end of the year, I'm sprinting till the next holiday season, because I look at 2020 like, hey, you've got certain times where the same amount of effort can bring disproportionate return. That makes sense? Like the same amount of effort can bring back disproportionate return, exponentially greater. That's how I look at the first 6 months of 2020. The next 6 months with what we have going right now, if I did those same things in 2010, would they have propelled me? Yeah. Will they propel me more now? I believe so. Okay, so look at those 3 things. Your personal growth, sharpen your saw. You're the greatest tool you have. 2, the quality of your relationships, your upline, your downline, your customers, your teammates. 3, the intensity of your effort. You do those 3 things with perfect vision. 2020, it's a good year to have perfect vision, right? You do those things in 2020, and I promise you we're going to have a great year and lots of success, okay? So thank you for joining me. Dave has messaged me like 10 times in the last 5 minutes, so I don't know if he's just freaking out that nobody's doing the call or if he actually needs to get a hold of me, but I'm going to go on mute for a second and talk to him, and then I'll turn the time back over to Jay, Michael, or Claudia, okay? Thanks for joining me, guys. Happy New Year.
Hey, Claudia. Hey, guys, I'm in a public place, so I'm not going to really speak today. I got a ton of people around me. I'm actually in a coffee shop here downtown Tyler. Claudia, you still there?
I'm still here. It was a great.
Oh, my God.
Gina. Dr. Gina's still here, too.
Great. Yeah, it was. Kevin, we can't appreciate you more. I thought I really needed to hear what Kevin said today. Personally needed to hear it. And he's so articulate with how he, and just love the stories he tells. So thank you, Kevin. And anybody like Dr. O, what's happening over in East Africa in January? You want to speak for a few minutes?
Well, thanks. First, I just want to comment on Kevin's face. I think he's been using a lot of collagen of late. The guy looks smooth. I don't know what's happening. He looks much younger. Am I seeing wrong? Kevin, a lot of collagen?
Dr. Gina, I can hear you, but I can hear your voice kind of, it goes back and forth. I don't know if maybe if you put do you have your earpiece close by? Sometimes I hear you better when you put on your, or maybe talk a little louder for me. Let me check your sound. No, oh, talk to me. Let me check your sound before you inspire us with wisdom. No, I can't hear you anymore. I was hearing you. You didn't have it. Okay, but whatever you did, you can unpress, or because I was hearing you. Okay, and now I can't hear you at all. What happened? What did you press? I lost you completely. You didn't press anything? You can't remember? Oh, there you are. Okay, move it again. Oh, whatever you're moving. Let me stop the recording for a second so we don't get this and we can share this. 1 second.